Well, the playoff picture continues to clear on up as we prepare for NASCAR Championship Weekend in the desert at Phoenix Raceway. Glad to have you on the inside lane here on Sports 360 AZ. I'm your host, Devon Henry, and joining us on the inside lane is a longtime journalist who has his eye basically everywhere when it comes to the world of motorsports. Joining us on the inside lane, he is a motorsports journalist of over 3 decades, the head play-by-play announcer of AMA Monster Energy Supercross. He is the owner and president of Speed Sport with his racing roots from Sacramento, California. It's Ralph Sheheen. Ralph, thanks for joining me.
Well, thanks for having me on. Been looking forward to this.
Hey, I'm looking forward to this too. And so basically a lot of people know you as the voice of Supercross, and that's been over a while now. So, I mean, you probably don't got much going on. It's probably pretty boring. Not much happening right now, right?
Yeah, no, just a lot of time sitting around, right? No, it's Monster Energy Supercross is a fun thing to be a part of. We do 17 races in 18 weeks usually. This year, of course, with everything going on around the world, was much different. We got 10 races in all the way through Daytona. Then the virus hit. That shut everything down. We had to wait till June. Actually, at the very last weekend of May, we were able to go out to Salt Lake City, spent 27 days, camped out in Salt Lake City, and we finished off the final 7 races running on Sundays and Wednesdays. And we got the season in, but it was a little different.
And you've had quite the experience from being an employee on NBC and being able to broadcast the events while also going to a lot of dirt races, because back east, I mean, dirt racing's been around for a while. And you've had your boots on the ground. You're writing, you're doing video. You do so much when it comes to being not just a president up in a nice, relaxing chair or anything. You go down and you do the hard work. But with COVID-19 and how this has kind of changed the broadcasting journalism industry, from a leadership position, what have you been doing to help out your employees and help Speed Sport still operate during these really strange times when income is starting to really become an issue?
Yeah, it's been a real challenge in the racing world for so many different reasons, right? Where and when could you race? Could fans come? How many people can you keep on your teams? Part supplies running low. It was a real challenge for everybody. We had launched in December at the PRI show, the Speed Sport TV network, an over-the-top television network. And when we did that, we were hopeful that it would be successful, but we didn't really know where things were going to go. By March, when everything hit, everybody was looking for content and live streaming opportunities. And there we sat with the perfect platform, and our SpeedSport.tv network has taken off like a rocket. We're close to 100 affiliates now on the network. Most weekends we're broadcasting 60, 70 to 100 live motorsports events every weekend. It's been incredible to see how that goes. We've got IMCA, PowerEye, racetracks like Stafford and All-American out in Roseville, California, Riverhead up in Long Island. NASCAR formed a partnership with us. We're the official broadcaster of all of their Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Racing Series tracks, which is a huge deal. So anything you could want to watch, whether it's NASCAR Weekly Short Track Racing, Demolition Derby, snowmobile racing, sprint cars, midgets, dirt late models, you name it, it's all on the network. Just check it out at speedsport.tv.com. I mean, it's incredible.
And that's something that I wanted to mention with that broadcasting network. I mean, during the pandemic, you guys have really grown, nearly outrageously, might I add, compared to many people. So how do you manage that right now? Because I know that you got your nose to the ground. I mentioned earlier, you still fly around everywhere. We saw you in Indiana during the Indy 500 weekend and at the fairgrounds. You go around everywhere. So how do you manage being president while also having those boots on the ground?
Well, I think to be successful in motorsports, you have to be at the events. First of all, that's imperative because it's a people business. So you have to get out, you have to meet people, you have to get to know everybody on the teams, whether it's the tire changer or the owner of the team. They're all important and influential in the success of your business. So you have to be out there. As a broadcaster, of course, I need to be there. And I think that's helped build my reputation, which then, you know, helps with Speed Sport and everything we have going on here. But to that, it's something I'm passionate about. So I want to be at those events. I can't do it just sitting here. I need to go to the races. I want to be there. I need to smell it, hear it, feel it, be a part of it. That's what drives the passion for all of us. So to make things work for a company like Speed Sport, if you don't have the passion for it, it's not going to translate through to the fan. If you don't have it, it's not going to happen.
And taking a closer look at NASCAR, the 2021 schedule released today, a few shakeups for next year, but here in Phoenix, what we're most concerned about, I guess, is NASCAR Championship Weekend coming back to Phoenix Raceway for a second year, being able to actually get the fans who are out here, out to the racetrack, hopefully post-pandemic, and fill up those 42,000 seats in the grandstands. But how do you see NASCAR evolving? They're wanting more road courses, the need for more short tracks, and where do you see Phoenix Raceway in this evolution?
Well, I think Phoenix made some great changes at the right time. Brian Sperber, who had been the president out there, did a tremendous job of revitalizing what was already a tremendous facility and a destination stop on the tour. So many fans wanted to go out there to the Valley of the Sun for all that reason behind you, Devon. You got bright sunshine, beautiful scenery. When it's cold and wet and damp and rainy in other places, you guys are doing what you're doing, getting a suntan. And, people want to go out there. It's Phoenix, Scottsdale, all of that area is so great, so fun. People want to get out there and partake in everything that area has to offer, which is tremendous. I'm a huge fan of it. Love going out there for whatever racing I'm doing. Then you mix in a great track like Phoenix International that actually puts on great competition, and it's a perfect destination weekend if you're a race fan. Then you look at what Brian was able to do to the facility to upgrade it, bring it into the modern era, really did a tremendous amount to make it even more attractive. Now Brian steps away, and here comes Julie Giese in to run the facility, and she's a superstar. So that venue has just great future in NASCAR racing to be a tremendous destination for many, many years to come. I can't imagine why NASCAR would ever change that on the schedule the way they have it right now. It's a perfect stop to end the season. A very racy track, great competition, and a great destination. It's perfect.
Yeah, speaking of great destinations, back when I was growing up, you go out to Phoenix Raceway for a Saturday race, then head out to Manzanita for the Western World Championships on Saturday night. It was a good time back then. But when you look at Phoenix Raceway and the $178 million put into this track just a couple of years ago, how important is it for NASCAR to go and modernize these tracks across the entire country for their circuits and be able to kind of enter this age of a little bit more entertainment than just the actual race itself?
So you threw a number out there. How much was the revitalization? 178 million?
Yes.
Right? It's a big number, right? Now, granted, they already had good bones to work with to do the revitalizing of the facility. So it wasn't like they started from ground zero, right? But they did spend 178 million. Well, there's a new venue over in Southern California called SoFi Stadium, where the Rams and the Chargers play. It's $5 billion. It is the state-of-the-art for the entire world when it comes to stadiums and sports venues. Then over in Vegas, you've got the new Allegiant Stadium where the Raiders are playing. That's $2 billion. You got the Cowboys venue over in Arlington, the Niners Stadium, Levi's. These are all multi-billion dollar venues, $1.5 billion on up to this incredible $5 billion thing they have in SoFi. I got to remember, you got Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta and the Viking Stadium in Minneapolis. And I've seen all of these because we race Supercross in all of these buildings. And eventually we will be in SoFi and we will be in Allegiant. That's what NASCAR is competing against, because that's what the sports fan is now used to. Those are just the football stadiums. The Texas Rangers built a new one right next door to the Cowboys Stadium. And the Oakland A's are getting ready to do a new one. The Giants ballpark. These are all incredible venues. So sports fans have become very accustomed to certain things when they go to these venues, and they want them, whether it's, connectivity with their phone, with the internet, better seats, better sight lines, sweet boxes, concession stand upgrades, all this stuff. They want it, they expect it, and they're not coming if you don't have it. So, yeah, it's not just a problem for NASCAR, but for all motorsports. How do we compete with that? It's tough to go in there and spend that kind of money, even at a place like Phoenix when you're hosting 2 events a year, whereas those guys are doing, 16 games that have 8, 10, counting 2 preseason games at home, and then everything else they can do, Final Fours, and the Olympics will be at SoFi, and, you can do Super Bowls and all that other stuff. It's a different game, but they got to find a way to compete.
Talking with Ralph Sheheen here, president and owner of Speed Sport, and you come from a very unique perspective for what I'm about to ask you about, because here at Sports 360 AZ, we primarily do a ton of high school football. We are all about prep sports here, high schools from the smallest areas to the biggest areas here in the state of Arizona. And this Friday night, we're going back playing football for high school sports. And obviously, there's been a lot of controversy with it, with the coronavirus. Now, your son, Lucas, is a freshman in high school. They bumped back their schedule to February. You're obviously still not completely sure, is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? Over here in Arizona, we're not sure if the season's going to end. Are we going to have a championship or whatnot? But you have this experience now as a parent going through this, but also as a professional going and seeing a successful pro supercross season, going to local short tracks. So from your kind of mixed experience, if you will, what do you think schools and coaches need to be focusing on right now to make sure that we can get not just football, but athletics in safely so that these athletes don't lose a year, essentially, of trying to play a sport?
Yeah, it was the $60 million question, right, that none of us have the right answer to. And I certainly am no expert. I'm not a doctor. I don't know anything. All I know is what I've experienced and what I've seen this year. That's all I can go by, and that's all I can offer you. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It's just experience. What I'm really afraid of for my son, Lucas, and for my daughter, Olivia, who's got her own competition. She's not playing high school sports, but she does different dance competitions and things of that nature, where as a parent, I want to, if nothing else, be able to go watch. And I don't even know at some of these places, can you go in and watch? I've got friends whose daughters are playing volleyball or tennis or whatever it might be, and the parents can't even go sit in the stands. And that's terrible. You only get so many opportunities when your kids are in any level of school, whether it's college, high school, or elementary school, to participate as a student, athlete, and or to watch as a parent. And you don't want to miss any of that, right? If Lucas misses out on a season of high school football, that's devastating. Yes, I understand. Don't get me wrong. I get it. It's a pandemic. I understand. But you only get 4 years of that. So to lose a year is a big deal, right? Now, the experiences I've had, we did 27 days in Salt Lake City and did 7 Supercross races. We went through all the stuff in the NBA. We were in a bubble. We were fully COVID tested, with the swab up the nose and temperature checks, and you couldn't mix pods. And, we did the whole thing. We got through it. One person, the whole time we were there, 685 people went in, 684 came out clean. One person got sick the entire time we were there, took them out, never had an incident, right? Since then, I went to the Indy 500. 2,000 people, that's it, were allowed in. Racers, media, security, medical, that was it. Only 2,000 people were there on race day. I was one of 40 journalists. That was all that was there. Everything went fine. A couple of weeks later, I went to Crandon, Wisconsin for the big off-road race. 50,000 people, completely different deal. People are just there. It was just like nothing was going on anywhere else in the world. No problems. Then I went to Boone, Iowa the following week. Another 50 some odd thousand there for the big IMCA Super Nationals. No problems. So what's the answer, Devon? I don't know. But I can just tell you what I experienced, and I've experienced it from literally both ends of the spectrum, and there were no problems at either end. So for high school sports, elementary sports, college sports, I think all you can do is go by whatever we have learned, which is do what they tell you, do the testing, put the groups. I think the bubble system seems to be better, like what the NBA did. If you can do that, I know that's certainly tough to do with high school sports. But, it's common sense, right? It's wear the mask when you have to, wash your hands, stay apart, do the temperature checks. If somebody gets sick, clear everybody out. A lot of common sense makes a difference. It's not perfect by any stretch, and I certainly don't know what the right answer is, but I've seen it from both ends of the spectrum, and it's been an amazing experience that I don't want to go through ever again.
Yeah, I can 100% agree with that. And through your years of broadcasting, you've had a really, really phenomenal opportunity to take your two kids with you and share a lot of experiences across the country at a bunch of different racing events. And I always love seeing the pictures you post on social media, being able to share that experience with your kids. And obviously, again, I hate talking about this so much, but COVID changed that. So I'm curious with you, because of how much you still have to travel, what has home life been like for you around your wife and your kids, and of course Deuce as well?
Yeah, Deuce, our golden retriever, he's the star of the show, that guy. Well, and I encourage all your listeners and viewers to follow along. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. So it's Ralph Sheheen. So if they would like to join along for the fun, I welcome it. That'd be great. You're right. I've been very fortunate to bring my family to events and let them participate in things. I try to get each of my kids to come with me individually, one at a time during the season. The way it was laid out this year, Lucas went to Supercross in Tampa, which was end of February, so we were still normal. He was able to get that trip in. Olivia was scheduled to go to Seattle for Supercross early March, and that went away. Unfortunately, she got the short end of that deal this year, which means she'll get first pick next time everything goes back to somewhat normal. It's been great to have them home, to be around them more. I certainly haven't traveled as much as I have. I think my wife, Kimberly, probably wishes it would be time for me to get out a little bit more. But yeah, they understand the business. My wife fully understood what she was getting into before we got married, what my life was like, what my job is, my career, passion. As she said, you certainly can't expect to change somebody's passion when you marry them. You kind of have to understand that. And I wouldn't say that this lifestyle works for everybody. We have figured out how to make it work for us. That's all that matters. Whatever works for your family is all that matters. Nobody can tell you what to do. If your family's cool with it, that's it. And this works for us. It has provided amazing opportunities for us to experience things as a family, meet people, do things, the real life education. I think my kids have gotten out of this by going to events and being around certain people, and learning how to maneuver in those worlds, hopefully will benefit them well. In some places, my kids are probably better known than I am, because Lucas, literally, he's 14. As long as he's been alive on this planet, his dad's been the Supercross guy. So, that's what he knows. He just dad's Supercross guy,
Yep, that's a great opportunity that you have there, and it's always fun to be able to watch. Ralph, I could go on and on with you, some dirt racing roots and your background. I know you love classic cars. I'd love to talk about that, but for now, I'll get out of your hair. I really appreciate your time, and thank you for coming on.
My pleasure, Devin. Anytime. And listen to all your fans and viewers out there. Just go to speedsport.com and you can learn about everything we're doing there, the magazines, the websites, and certainly our Speed Sport TV network, which I think a lot of your viewers and listeners will enjoy.
And it doesn't really matter the type of racing, drag racing, dirt racing. I mean, you guys got a little bit of everything on there.
We do. Yeah, we've been around since 1934. So, yeah, we got a few things.
You guys got some roots. Thank you, Ralph.
For sure.
Appreciate the time.
Buddy. Thanks. Enjoy that sunshine.
Oh, I will. I definitely will. This was the Inside Lane on Sports 360 AZ. Be sure to keep it to Sports 360 AZ for the rest of October and November as we get ready for NASCAR Championship Weekend.